Okay, so this is the new OnePlus Nord 6, and it's turning out to be a pretty solid performance-focused phone under 40,000 rupees. But right next to it is the Poco F7. It's got the same Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 chip, and it has built a pretty strong fan base. Now here's the interesting part. The Poco F7 launched at 30,000 rupees, but thanks to things like the RAM apocalypse and an AI tax on literally everything, the Poco F7 now costs 36,000 rupees for the 12GB RAM and 256GB storage model. So which one actually makes more sense? I'm going to break it all down for you, but before I get started, do hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us out. Now it's pretty obvious that both these phones look and feel very different. The Poco F7 in Phantom Black keeps things simple with that dual tone finish. It's understated with subtle green accents around the camera, adding a bit of character. The Nord 6 in Quicksilver is more expressive. The holographic ribbon on the back makes it look more futuristic and draws more attention. It also gets an aluminium camera deco on its squarish module, which gives the Nord 6 a nicer contrast. In terms of materials, Poco uses a glass back while OnePlus goes with plastic. That said, both pick up fingerprints very easily. In hand, the Poco feels more premium with its metallic frame. The Nord 6 uses a plastic frame, but the metallic-like finish could easily fool you into thinking it's made of metal. But durability is where OnePlus has an edge. It offers IP66, IP68, IP69, and even IP69K ratings, along with military standard 810H certification. The Poco gets IP66, IP68, and IP69. Coming to size, the Poco is slightly heavier at 222 grams, while the Nord is 217 grams. However, the Nord is thicker at 8.5mm compared to 7.9mm on the F7, likely because it packs a larger battery, but more on that later. For display protection, Poco uses Gorilla Glass 7i, which is well established. OnePlus uses Crystal Guard glass, which it claims is as durable as Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, something we'll need to test during our long-term usage. Ports and connectivity are largely similar. You get Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6.0, USB 2.0, Type-C, and no eSIM on both. The Nord 6 also includes a Plus key, which is a small but practical addition. For displays, both have 6.83-inch screens, 1.5K AMOLED panels, and 100% DCI-P3 coverage. Colors look punchy, contrast is solid, and while watching content, I had zero complaints on either, but there are some differences. The OnePlus Nord 6 uses a 10-bit panel, so you get over 1 billion colors. The Poco F7 gets 68 billion colors, which is just amazing for this segment. However, side by side, it's really tough to tell the difference. Where things really change is refresh rate. The Nord 6 goes up to 165Hz, and you do notice that in fast-paced games. The Poco sticks to 120Hz, and when you compare them directly, the difference is visible, especially while gaming. HDR performance is solid on both. The Nord 6 supports HDR10 Plus on Netflix, while the Poco adds Dolby Vision. Now on paper, the Nord peaks at 3600 nits versus 3200 nits on the F7, but outdoors I found the Poco to be a bit brighter. For audio, both have stereo speakers. The Nord gets a 300% super audio mode, which gets very loud but loses some depth. The Poco is not as loud, but sounds richer and more balanced. So for content, I'd pick the Poco F7, but for gaming, the Nord 6 is better. Now, performance-wise, I expected these two to be neck and neck because on paper, they're basically twins. Both get the Snapdragon 8s Gen 4, LPDDR5X RAM, UFS 4.1 storage, and large vapor cooling chambers. Everything about them screams performance first. In day-to-day use, that holds up well. Both feel fast, smooth, and consistent. But benchmarks tell a different story. On Antutu, they're almost identical, 2.37 million versus 2.34 million, and that's as close as it gets. Geekbench gives the Nord 6 a slight edge, not massive, but noticeable. 3D Mark is where things flip. The Poco F7 pulls ahead with far better stability, and even its best loop score comes very close to the Nord 6. So naturally you would expect the Poco F7 to dominate gaming, but that's actually not the case. The Nord 6 has a big advantage here. It can push 165 FPS in BGMI using AI and frame interpolation, but even with all of that turned off, it still holds 120 FPS comfortably. The Poco F7, despite having the hardware, is stuck at 90 FPS in BGMI. I mean, it can hit 120 FPS in certain modes in Call of Duty Mobile, and overall gaming performance is still strong. But it's been months since the F7 launched, so you do expect an update by now. Plus, the Nord also manages heat better, so if gaming is your priority, the Nord 6 is the safer pick. Okay, now cameras, and once again, on paper, very similar setup. Both get a 50 megapixel main camera with OIS along with an 8 megapixel ultrawide. On the front, the Nord 6 has a 32 megapixel selfie camera while the Poco sticks with 20 megapixel. From the main camera, both deliver solid shots, but I slightly prefer the OnePlus. It leans a bit warmer while still keeping things fairly natural. Zoom is where the gap starts to show. At 2x and beyond, the Nord holds up better. You can push it to around 10x and still get usable shots. The Poco struggles here though. The ultrawide follows the same pattern. The Nord is simply more consistent. In low light, the Nord does better, but neither is particularly impressive. Difficult lighting still trips both up. Portraits are another win for OnePlus. Edge detection is cleaner and skin tones look better. Video is solid on both at 4K 60 FPS. Colors and stabilization are good, but the Nord looks cleaner and more stable overall. The Poco does add a few extras like HDR10 Plus recording and even a teleprompter. Both also support portrait video. For selfies, the Nord's 32 megapixel camera is clearly better. Now, software is where these two really start to feel different. The Nord 6 comes with OxygenOS 16 based on Android 16. The Poco F7 launched with HyperOS 2 on Android 15, but has since been updated to HyperOS 3 based on Android 16. So while both offer 4 years of OS updates and 6 years of security, the Poco has already used one major update. Both offer plenty of customization, but in very different ways. I personally prefer OxygenOS. It feels cleaner, more intuitive and fluid. HyperOS is solid, but not as polished. AI is a big focus on both. The Poco gets Hyper AI while the Nord gets OnePlus AI. I mean, there is a lot of overlap here, but both are useful. But OnePlus has one feature that stands out: PlusMind. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about PlusMind because we've made a lot of videos about it in the past and you can check those out if you like. But I do find it to be one of the best use cases for AI on a smartphone. Now, battery life is where things get interesting. The Poco F7 gets a 7550 mAh battery, while the Nord 6 gets a massive 9000 mAh. Now, at launch, the Poco F7 did have some battery drain issues, but over time with updates, that issue seems to have been fixed, at least on our unit. Now, both easily last a day and a half, but the Nord 6 just keeps going. That extra capacity can easily push it over 2 days, even more. Charging flips things slightly. The Nord gets 80 watts, so a full charge takes about 70 minutes. The Poco is quicker with 90 watt, finishing in under an hour. Both also support reverse wired charging, 22.5 watt on the Poco and 27 watt on the Nord. Okay, so after all of that, which one should you pick? If gaming is your priority, the OnePlus Nord 6 is the easy pick. A higher refresh rate, better optimization, overall smoother performance. It has the edge where it matters. But if you care more about content consumption, audio, and a more balanced experience, the Poco F7 is the better pick. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.